The winter after a bad MotoGP season is not quiet. It is not peaceful. It is not healing. It is a mirror you cannot escape. And right now, inside that mirror, Francesco Pecco Bagnaia sees something he isn't supposed to see. A two-time champion standing on the edge of losing the most wanted seat in world motorsport. The Ducati factory box in Bologna is a temple built on violence. Every mechanic knows it. Every engineer breathes it. Every rider who ever touched a red bike knows the truth stamped into the Desmosedesci's bones. Ducati doesn't babysit legacies. Ducati replaces them. The ghost of Casey Stoner still lingers. The shadow of Dani Pedrosa's refusals. The roar of Jorge Lorenzo's 2018 charge. The blood-red empire Marc Márquez just took over in 2025. This brand is allergic to weakness, and Pecco spent all of 2025 wearing weakness like armor he didn't want. The GP25 didn't just betray him, it humiliated him. It stripped his strengths bare, turned his precision into uncertainty, turned his discipline into fear, turned his braking into questions he couldn't answer. 9 DNFs, 2 wins, a season spent suffocating in a championship he once ruled. But winter doesn't care about your past. Winter only cares about what you have left. The Valencia test gave him 1 breath of oxygen. The GP26 finally stopped fighting him. Braking came back. Corner entry no longer stabbed him. The front end talked instead of screamed. For the first time in 10 months, he looked like Pecco again. But that is where the real terror begins. Because Marc Márquez is not sleeping. Marc is sharpening. Because Bezzecchi is not backing off. He is charging for 2026. Because Jorge Martin is desperate to rewrite his ruined year. Because Pedro Acosta is no longer a rookie. He is a threat counting the seconds until his first win. Because Aldeguer smells blood. Because Quartararo wants revenge in 2027. And because Lorenzo, the most brutally honest champion Italy ever feared, just threw a grenade into Pecco's winter. Get a sports psychologist. Fix your head. Or Ducati will fix your contract. This is not a suggestion. This is a verdict. Pecco Bagnaia has 2 months to rebuild his mind, his conviction, his identity, and his confidence while sitting on the most unforgiving motorcycle seat on earth. And the question now is a blade pressed against his throat. Can he rebuild before the Red Throne forgets his name? Comment your reaction below. Jorge Lorenzo doesn't speak to be liked, he speaks to slice. And when he talks about Pecco Bagnaia, his tone has the cold edge of someone who knows exactly what drowning feels like in MotoGP. Lorenzo fought Rossi, he fought Stoner. He fought Márquez at the height of his alien power. He knows what psychological pressure feels like when a factory expects domination and you deliver turbulence. So when he says Pecco looks miserable, blocked, and empty, he isn't insulting him. He is diagnosing him. Because Pecco in 2025 was not slow, he was lost. The GP25 refused to give him the stability he builds his entire riding DNA on. The front end never stopped wobbling between hope and betrayal. Every lap he rode felt like arguing with a bike that didn't trust him anymore. And once a rider loses the front trust, he loses himself. This is where Lorenzo hits him with the real punch. He needs someone from outside, a psychologist, a coach, someone to break the cycle. This is not weakness. This is survival. Andrea Dovizioso did the same thing in 2017, and it unlocked the greatest version of Dovi the world ever saw. Suddenly, he believed he could beat Márquez. Suddenly, he fought like someone who understood his own value. Pecco needs that reboot. He needs to admit the truth. This is the biggest crossroads of his life. His Ducati contract expires at the end of 2026. His teammate is the greatest comeback story MotoGP has ever witnessed. His factory has already shown they will sacrifice emotions for performance. And Aprilia is waiting with open arms if he collapses again. He cannot hide behind politeness anymore. He cannot hide behind PR language. He cannot hide behind just a bad year. Because 2025 wasn't a bad year. It was a warning. The GP26 may be kinder to him, yes, but kindness means nothing when the beast in the other garage is Marc Márquez himself. Lorenzo's point is brutal. The bike won't save Pecco. Only Pecco can save himself. And this winter is the arena where he must start bleeding for that salvation. If he doesn't fix his mind, if he doesn't rebuild his identity, if he doesn't rediscover the ferocity he buried in 2022 and 2023, 2026 will eat him alive, and Ducati will replace him without blinking. Because the factory seat is not a reward, it is a contract with suffering. Does Pecco understand how thin the ice under him has become? 2 months. That is all he has. 8 weeks where the lights are off, the cameras are gone, and the only enemy left is the voice in his own skull. For most riders, the winter break is a recharge. For Pecco Bagnaia, winter break is a battlefield. Because this time, winter isn't rest. This time, winter is judgment. He isn't fighting the GP25 anymore. He isn't fighting chatter. He isn't fighting front-end inconsistency. He isn't fighting engineers lost in translation. He is fighting something far more dangerous. Doubt. Doubt is the heaviest part on a MotoGP bike. Doubt is the weight that slows your corner entry. Doubt is the shadow that grows inside your helmet at 320 kilometers per hour. Doubt is the whisper that makes you question a move you nailed 1,000 times. And Pecco's doubt has been screaming for a year straight. Marc Márquez ended 2025 with a throne made of broken statistics. Alex Marquez finished P2 in the championship. Bezzecchi turned into a monster the moment the 93 went to the hospital. Aldeguer won a race as a teenager. Acosta nearly cracked the top 3 in only his second season. Every rider around him is growing sharper, and Ducati's identity is mutating. This is not the gentle, romantic Ducati that nurtured Dovi. This is not the Ducati that protected a narrative. This is the Ducati of 2024-2025. Aggressive, impatient, merciless, allergic to stagnation, obsessed with staying the most dominant brand in MotoGP history. And that means Pecco cannot afford another year like 2025. The GP26 will not be a safety net. The GP26 will be a weapon he must wield while standing next to the most complete rider of this generation. Marc Márquez didn't join Ducati to share the kingdom. He joined Ducati to claim it. Pecco is not the defending ruler anymore. He is the threatened heir. Winter is deciding whether he stays or whether he becomes a chapter in Ducati's past. And Jorge Lorenzo's message sits heavy like a judge's hammer. Fix your mindset. Reinvent your belief. Rediscover your brutality. Now, not later, or Ducati will move on. Because on the grid, everyone still respects Pecco's speed. Nobody doubts his class. Nobody questions his technique. But this is MotoGP. Admiration doesn't save you. Only results do. Pecco Bagnaia enters 2026 with one terrifying reality. He must be perfect again, or he will be replaced. And that leads us to the next arena. When the lights go out, what happens when the Ducati throne finally demands blood from both of its riders? The time will tell us. Comment below. Subscribe for more savage breakdowns.